Brutalism is one of the most controversial styles in all of architecture. It's been called Brutalist Gothic, Brutalist Baroque, Brutalist Rococo, and it's not uncommon to hear people say that buildings like the Barbican in London are some of the ugliest buildings ever built. So my question for today is brutalism ugly, or is it an artistic statement? Brutalism is a style that uses raw concrete and monumental forms to express power, confidence, seriousness. It's often characterized by massive solid blocks that seem to be thrown together in an almost violent way, giving the buildings a certain heaviness and aggression. But what makes it so controversial is that this expression is open to interpretation. Some people see it as an expression of power and confidence, while others see it as cold, imposing, brutal. So why do we call it brutalism? The term brutalism comes from the French word brute, which means raw, and this refers to the use of raw concrete, brute, as the main material. Raw concrete is a very versatile material. It can be molded into any shape imaginable, and it can also be left exposed without any decoration. This gives architects a lot of freedom when designing buildings, but it also means that the buildings can look very stark and industrial. Brutalism was first used in France after World War II, and it was part of a larger movement called Le Corbusier. This movement was led by the architect Le Corbusier, and it sought to create a new kind of architecture for the modern age. They wanted to create buildings that were honest and simple and that expressed their function. Brutalism was one of several styles that emerged within this larger movement. Others include international style, minimalism, and Brutalist. But despite its French origins, Brutalism became most popular in the UK, particularly in London. After the Second World War, London was in a bad state. Much of the city had been bombed during the war, and there was a need for new housing. Brutalism was seen as a way to quickly build large blocks of flats without spending a lot of money. The use of raw concrete meant that the buildings could be constructed quickly with minimal decoration, and this made them very cheap to build. So, brutalist buildings are often characterized by their massive forms and their lack of decoration. The Barbican in London is probably the most famous example of brutalist architecture. It's a huge complex of flats and offices that looks like a brutalist fortress. But the reason they built these massive blocks was not to be brutal, but because they were trying to make the most of the small space available. The site was quite a small one, but they needed to build enough housing for a lot of people, so they decided to build upwards. And this is why many brutalist buildings are so tall. They're trying to fit a lot of people into a small space. But the reason for the massive forms is not only functional, it's also aesthetic. Brutalism was a reaction against the sleek, minimalist style of the international style that had dominated architecture in the first half of the 20th century. Brutalists wanted to create buildings that were more expressive and more honest. They wanted to create buildings that looked like they were powerful and serious, and they did this by using massive forms and raw concrete. This style has been compared to Gothic architecture, and there are some similarities between the two. Both use pointed arches and vertical lines to create a sense of height and drama. But there are also some important differences. Gothic architecture uses stone and it's often highly decorated. Brutalism uses concrete and it's often left bare. And that's why brutalism is so controversial. People either love it or hate it. There's no middle ground. It's either an expression of power and confidence, or it's cold, imposing, and brutal. Personally, I think it's an artistic statement. I think it's an attempt to create buildings that are more expressive and more honest. And I think it's an important part of our architectural heritage. But what do you think? Is brutalism ugly, or is it an artistic statement? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about architecture, be sure to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on social media. Brutalism is a style that's polarizing. People either love it or hate it. There's no middle ground. But I think that's what makes it so interesting. It forces us to confront our own feelings about what is beautiful and what is ugly. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with images of perfection. We see it in the glossy magazines we read, in the TV shows we watch, even in the products we buy. But brutalism rejects this idea of perfection. It celebrates the raw, the unfinished, the imperfect, and that's why I find it so appealing. Most people want their houses to look nice. They want them to be the object of desire, something that people admire and envy. But brutalism rejects this idea. It suggests that a house doesn't have to be perfect, that it can be honest, even if that means it's not the prettiest thing in the neighborhood. Brutalism is a style that's often misunderstood. People see these massive blocks of concrete and they think they're ugly, but they're missing the point. Brutalism isn't about beauty, it's about honesty. It's about creating buildings that are honest and simple and that express their function. Many people think that brutalism is just a relic of the past, something that's no longer relevant today. But I disagree. I think brutalism is more relevant today than ever before. We live in a world where everything is fake, where everything is trying to be something it's not. Brutalism is a refreshing change. It's a reminder that it's okay to be different, that it's okay to be yourself. Brutalism is not for everyone, and that's okay. But for those of us who appreciate it, it's something special. It's a style that's honest, raw, and real. And in a world where everything is fake, that's something to be celebrated. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to learn more about architecture, you can follow me on social media. There's this idea that brutalism is somehow anti-human because of the harshness of the materials and the coldness of the forms. But I reject that idea. I think brutalism is actually very human. It's a style that's honest and direct and to the point. And I think that's something that we can all relate to. We live in a world where we're constantly trying to put on a facade, where we're constantly trying to hide our true selves. But Brutalism doesn't care about facades. It doesn't care about hiding things. It's honest, raw, and real. And I think that's something that we can all admire. Today's world, we're often told to be more like other people, to conform to what society expects of us. But brutalism doesn't care about what other people think. It does its own thing. It's bold, it's daring, it's different. And I think that's something that we can all aspire to be. So no, brutalism is not ugly. It's not anti-human. It's not uncaring. It's actually the opposite. It's honest. It's direct. It's real. And I think that's something that we can all appreciate. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to learn more about architecture, you can follow me on social media. This question of whether Brutism is ugly or not is really just a question of whether we as a society value honesty and authenticity. If we do, then Brutism is not ugly, it's beautiful. It's an honest and authentic way of making architecture. But if we live in a world where we don't value those things, then maybe brutalism will always be seen as ugly. But I choose to see it as beautiful. I choose to believe that there is a place for honesty and authenticity in our world. And I hope that one day brutalism will be seen as the beautiful expression of those values that it is. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to learn more about architecture, you can follow me on social media.